Hello, today I will be teaching you in a short amount of time how to play any C blues or any C boogie on the piano, C being the key that the blues or boogie is in. Step number 1 is to learn what all the names of the keys on the piano are. Since we're in a C scale, we're going to start on middle C, which is right here. You can tell this is middle C because of its relation to the black keys. Black keys comes in sets of 3 and in sets of 2. Sets of 3, sets of 2, sets of 3, sets of 2, etc., etc. So then you go to the sets of 2, and then you go to the bottom key, and that's C. Then you just play all the white keys up. And then you have a C scale. To understand what the names of the black keys are, you just need to look at them in relation to the white key name. And if it's up from the white key, then it's sharp, and if it's down, it's flat. So if this were C, this black key is up 1, so this is C sharp. If this is D, this is up 1, so this is D sharp. If this is F, this is up 1, so it's F sharp, and you can just do that for all the black keys. Now the basic C blues scale, which I will show you very quickly right now, and if you want to review it, you can always look it up on the internet because it is one of the most widely known scales. The scale begins with C, then to D sharp, then to F, F sharp, G, A sharp, C. These are the notes that when played with any accompaniment in the left hand, they will sound good, and they will sound bluesy and cool. Next step is to learn the bass line for your blues or boogie. If you want to play a blues, you'll just take the bass line that I'm about to show you and play it slow. If you want a boogie, you'll just play it really, really fast. So typically every bass line goes in the pattern of starting on the 1 chord, then the 4 chord, then the 1 chord, then the 5 chord, then the 4 chord, then the 1 chord. And that probably made no sense, so I'll explain it. Your typical bass line will have a root and a fifth. So in the case of C, the root will be C with your pinky on the C, and the fifth is 5 notes up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's why it's labeled 5, and that you'll put your thumb on that. There you go. And then you go to the 6th by raising your thumb 1 note up. Notice my pinky staying the same, just my thumb is moving from the 5th to the 6th, the 5th to the 6th. Now we want to change chords, and to get the right chord, we're going to go to the 4th. So what's the 4th in the C scale? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's an F. I labeled it 4. And you do the same exact thing with the 5th and the 6th. Back to the 1. Then you're going to go to the 5th. The 5th in the C scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is a G, labeled at 5. Then back to the 4th. Of course, you can do this in any pattern that you like. This is usually the typically best sounding one though. This would be more of a blues speed. If you want a boogie, you would have to speed it up to something like but you get the idea. Next step is to get your right hand familiar with the blues scale. So, if you know the blues scale very well, you can easily go from note to note, and you can combine notes. Now, one typical thing that happens in blues and boogie is the D sharp is played as an E instead. If you remember in the blues scale that I showed you before, but sometimes you play this one instead of this one by sliding your finger, and that usually adds a lot of spice. So you can combine notes in the scale to make a sound, for example, like this. Or like any combination of the notes will typically work. Next step is to combine the left hand and the right hand playing the improvisation on the top, and you will get a really cool bluesy or boogie sound. I'm now going to demonstrate what it's like when you put the left hand together with the right hand playing improvisation on the top. The bottom I'm going to use the 5th and the 6th bass line just as I showed you before, with the 4th to the 1 to the 5th to the 4th to the 1. And then the right hand I'm going to completely make it up as I go, just using notes on the blues scale, also including the E. So one typical thing you can do if you're starting from slow and going to fast is you can do a glissando, which is basically you putting your hand down here and sliding it down the piano, and that adds a lot of spice to it. So I'm going to start off really slow with the root, then to the 4th, back to the root, to the 5th, After practicing the blues scale in your right hand and the bass in your left hand, you can now go anywhere and play a blues scale just out of the blue.